We were reading in Daniel chapter 9, verses 17 through 19, in which the city, the people, are called by the name of Yahweh. Listen, delay for your own sake, for your Elohim, my Elohim, for your city, your people, which are called by your name. So, as characteristic number 23, number 24, her prophets and priests lead her astray. Now, do the Americans have prophets and priests? No, but we know through the entire Old Testament as well as the New Testament that the prophets came out of Israel, came out of Jerusalem. Most prophets listed were Levitical priests, had to be of the age of 30 to be deemed a full-fledged priest. In Matthew chapter 23, we see the Pharisees, which are the sons of Judah. They were Jews. The priests were Levites. They were the third son of Jacob. Genesis 49, you can read about this. Also in Nehemiah, you can read how the Jews, after coming back from Babylon, kicked the Levites out from their duty into the fields to work as field hands. And Nehemiah came back and used physical force to get them reversed, that the Jews were supposed to be out in the fields working. And the Levites were supposed to be attending the office to which they were given, to the holy place. In Ezekiel chapter 13, let's just read a few verses showing that Jerusalem has prophets and priests that lead her astray. Ezekiel 13, 1 through 19. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel, who prophesy, and say to those who prophesy out of their own hearts, hear the word of Yahweh. That's what we hear today. People are prophesying out of their own heart instead of prophesying according to what the Father has given to them. They've taken on more than what the Father has given to them. Thus the Master Yahweh says, Woe to the foolish prophets who are following their own spirit without having had a vision. O Israel, your prophets have been like foxes among ruins. You have not gone up into the breaches, nor do you build a wall for the house of Israel to stand in battle of the day of Yahweh. Their visions are false, and their divinations a lie, saying, Thus declares Yahweh, when Yahweh has not sent them, yet they expected the word to be confirmed. Have you not seen a false vision, and have you not spoken a divination or lies? You say, Yahweh declares, when I have not spoken. And many men today are declaring that the tribe of Ephraim, their captivity is over in 2007. Then a year later in 2008, and again in 2009, they say that, well, we were wrong. You know, there is no zero, and we had to add this and do this. They're speaking lies. They're prophesying and saying things that are coming to nothing. And they're speaking out of their own mouth. Therefore, thus says the Master Yahweh, because you have spoken falsehood and seen lies. Therefore, see, I am against you, declares the Master. My hand shall be against the prophets who see falsehood and who divine lies. They shall not be found in my counsel, the counsel of my people, nor be written in the record of the house of Israel. And they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and you shall know that I am Yahweh the Master. Because they have led my people astray, saying, Peace when there is no peace. And we know the scripture says, when they have peace, woe to them, because sudden destruction comes. And when one building a wall, seeing that they are coating it with whitewash. Who was described as being whitewash in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 23? The Pharisees, those who were leading the people astray. They were leading the blind in a false way. Saying to those who coat it with whitewash, it shall fall. There shall be flooding, rain, and you, O great hailstones, fall, and a stormy wind breaks it down. And see, the wall shall fall. It shall fall. And not be asked, where is the coating with which you coated it? Therefore, thus says the Master Yahweh, I shall break down the stormy wind in my wrath. It's going to happen in the days of his wrath. And a flooding rain in my displeasure, and great hailstones in wrath to consume. And I shall throw down a wall, the wall you have coated it with whitewash, and bring it down to the ground, and its foundation shall be uncovered, and it shall fall, and you shall be consumed in the midst of it, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. So I shall complete my wrath on the wall, and all those coating it with whitewash, and to say to you, the wall is no more, no those who are whitewashing it. the prophets of Israel who prophesy concerning Jerusalem, and who are seeing visions of peace for her when there is no peace, declares the Master Yahweh. And that's what I'm telling you. There is no peace for Jerusalem. The time is at hand when it's going to get worse for Jerusalem, not better. There's going to be wars and rumors of wars. There's going to be no peace. There's going to be pestilence and famine and women eating their children alive and cooking them. Reading the prophets in Isaiah and Ezekiel, what happened to the two women and their children? What is going to happen in Jerusalem is going to be nothing short of horrific, brethren. Verse 17, and you, son of man, set your face against the daughters of your people who are prophesying out of their own heart, and prophesy against them. And you shall say, this is what the Master Yahweh said, woe to the women sewing cushions for all joints of the hand, and to those making veils for the heads of the people of every size, to hunt souls. You hunt the souls of my people while you keep alive your own beings. And you have profaned me among my people for handfuls of barley and for pieces of bread, to put to death souls that should not die, and to keep alive souls who shall not live, by your lying to my people who listen to lies. And we know that there's people who will have itching ears and listen to the newest and latest thing coming out of Israel. You know, and they say in letters, I have new news concerning Israel. Come to me. Rent rooms. Buy my new books. Do this. Do that. And it's all for nothing. It will be all for nothing. And soon they will be called what they are, false teachers. You can read Ezekiel 12, verses 24 through 28, Jeremiah 8, 5 through 11, Jeremiah 26, 7 through 15, and Jeremiah 50, 6 through 8. And let's go to that. Jeremiah chapter 50, and we'll read verses 6 through 8. Jeremiah 56 through 8 says, my people have been wandering sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray, turning them on the mountains, and they have gone from mountain to hill, and they have forgotten their resting place. All who have found them destroyed them, and their adversaries have said, we are not guilty because they've sinned against Yahweh. And when the nations come against Jerusalem, they're going to say the same thing. We haven't done anything wrong because they are guilty for shedding the blood of the saints. They're guilty for not keeping the Torah. We know that Yahweh has departed from them because they are blood-soaked city. They are a blood-soaked city. So we are not guilty because they have sinned against the Most High, the home of righteousness and their hope of their fathers, Yahweh. Flee from the midst of Babel, and remember the land of confusion. Jerusalem's called confusion. Come out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as rams before the flock. For look, I am stirring up and bringing up against a Babel, an assembly of great nations from the land of the north. So, number 25, she's broken the covenant. We already discussed this in the first five videos. Jeremiah 11, 1 through 17. Jeremiah 3, 8 speaks of the husband divorcing her because she's broken the covenant. We don't need to go over that again. She wanders. We just read about this. Proverbs 27, verse 8. She wanders. She's not feeling satisfied with what she has because she doesn't have the food and the water of the Torah, or the food, the proper spiritual food. And she's starving. Jeremiah 14:10, Jeremiah 50, verse 6, all speak of this. Number 27, she's called a shameful nation. Zephaniah 2. Let's go to Zephaniah 2. Zephaniah, the 2nd chapter, verses 1 through 3. And I lifted up my eyes and looked. I saw a man with a measuring line in his hand. And I said, where are you going? And he said to me, to measure Jerusalem. Exactly what Revelation 10 says. And he said to me, to measure Jerusalem, to see what its width and what its length. And see, the messenger who was speaking to me was going out. And another messenger was coming in to meet me. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in Zechariah. Zephaniah chapter 2, 1 through 3. Zephaniah 2, O shameful nation. Gather together, O nation without shame. Before the decree is born, the day shall pass like chaff. Before the burning wrath of Yahweh. Who receives the burning wrath of Yahweh? Jerusalem. Who is described as a shameful nation? because they have not kept his Torah, and they have opened her skirt, opened her legs, and shown her private parts to the world, Jerusalem. The wrath of Yahweh comes upon you before the day of the wrath of Yahweh comes upon you. Seek Yahweh, all you meek ones of the earth, who have done his right ruling, or his judgments and statutes. Blessed are those who keep his commandments, and cursed are those who don't. Seek righteousness, seek humility, if so that you are hidden in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. Number 28 says there's a book of her adulterous ways that are written. It's called the Scriptures. Jeremiah 51. We'll read that real quick. Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51, 60 through 64. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that would come upon Babel. Why would Jeremiah be writing about Nebuchadnezzar? It's true, we need some historical things that happened to know what happened to our brother Judah in Babylon. Because 1 Corinthians 10, 1 through 12 says that these things are written upon, these things are written to those in the end of days. So that it's an example for us that has been written, this book. But Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that would come upon a land of confusion, of Jerusalem. All these words which have been written concerning Babel. And Jeremiah said to Zechariah, when you come to Babel and see it and read all these words, then you shall say, O Yahweh, you have spoken concerning this place to cut it off, so that none shall dwell in it, neither man nor beast, nor for it shall be a ruin forever. He's speaking to Jerusalem, not to Babylon. And it shall be, when you have ended reading this book, that you shall tie a stone in it and throw it in the midst of the Euphrates, and shall say, So Babylon sinks and shall not rise from the evil that I am bringing upon her. And they shall weary themselves. But thus are the words of Jeremiah. He's speaking to a coded nation. Talks about Babylon, a land of confusion. He's speaking of Jerusalem. Number 29 says, Kings and nations shall flow unto her. And this has been interpreted as kings from around the world will come to the United Nations in New York City. Again, brethren, this is replacement theology. It's an opinion, it's speculation, and it's completely wrong. When it speaks of kings and nations flowing unto her, it's talking about the millennium. It's talking about when the kings of the earth will bring my sons from afar with their gold and silver laden in their ships. They will come back and rebuild me. The me is speaking of Jerusalem. Isaiah 43 and Isaiah 60, full chapters speaking of this, in which they will keep my feasts again. They will rebuild her wasted places. They will bring her sons from the mother. They will bring her sons back to her. From afar, Israelitish people coming back into the land from where they've been taken captive and been thrown out of the land. Some 2.5 millennia now it's been. Talks in war of peace accords, where the kings will come before the king of Jerusalem and will kneel before his throne in homage and give him the glory that he deserves. If you've ever seen the movie Moses and the Ten Commandments by Cecil B. DeMille, you'll recall before Pharaoh, all the kings came before him, giving him gifts and paying him glory, because he was the ruling power of the earth. And so Jerusalem will be under King David, and over him will be Yeshua HaMashiach, the Jewish Messiah, ruling Jerusalem. And kings will come from afar, giving him homage and bringing her sons, Jerusalem's sons, back to her from where they've been scattered. Again, read Isaiah 43 and Isaiah 60. Very, very clear. Number 30, she will be attacked from the north. Nebuchadnezzar, it says that he would attack her from the north. And yet look where Babylon, Iraq is positioned. It's approximately 600 miles due east. It's specifically speaking of a nation that would attack Jerusalem coming down from the north. And the north wall of Jerusalem is exactly where they attacked, because of the inclination of the walls of Jerusalem from the Kidron, which I have seen with my own eyes. Some 300+ feet high the walls were from the valley floor. The lowest spot, the northern wall. They attacked from the north. Babylon came from the east again.